Okay, before Ms. Gonzalez gets ready to mix this, what I wanted to remind everyone is that, remember, when you always measure out the water, you always want to come down to ground level because you want to make sure about that meniscus. Okay, I know you're probably wondering why is there so much water in there. The ratio was 47 of water to 100 of powder, but we're going to do a double pour. So whenever you hear someone say double pour, you're going to double the measurement. So instead of it being 47, it's now going to be 94, and instead of 100 of powder, it's going to be 200. Okay. Also, with plaster, you're going to see the strength isn't as strong as what your dental lab stones would normally be. So it's going to be, it's not going to be as strong. It's going to be, I think, it's 5,500 in compressed strength versus your regular buff stone, which is 9,000 compressed. Okay. Really quick, this is what a a plaster model would look like of what we're going to be doing here, and you guys are going to be doing this where you measure out your cuts so you know how to trim. And this is an example of the buff color stone. Okay. All right, so Ms. Gonzalez is going to go ahead and start, and remember, it's always powder to water, so she's starting with her water. Notice she starts with small strokes to first get it together. Remember, the temperature will affect your mix. Okay. Once she gets it all together, now she starts to scoop. You'll always have just a little extra off to the side in case you need it. Okay, we had a little technical difficulty there. We're back on track.
Just add a little extra if it's too thin. This is your extra cup that you would have. We're still mixing in one motion, so we won't incorporate so many bubbles in there.
And also remember that as you add more, you're increasing the strength. Okay?
Okay, do you think we're ready to put it on the vibrator?
Yes.
Hold on to your bowl, it will be noisy.
So can you demo if they take their hand off of it? How? Okay. By putting the bowl on there and putting pressure down, it minimizes the amount of noise that you hear. That noise is to my tripod.
If you want to see the bubbles coming in to the top.
Let me see if I can pull that for me right there, Ms. Gonzalez, if you don't mind.
Sure. The bubbles are coming up to the surface.
There you go. You can see some of those bubbles.
If I let go of the bowl, I'm not applying pressure, it's noisy.
And what you want to do is you want to keep mixing it, because what the consistency is going to be, it's going to be creamy, but you should be able to lift your spatula and it not fall off.
So this is thin.
So it's thin, so either mix a little bit more, or you may have to add just a tad bit more in there.
Okay, I'm going to put it on high. Still very thin.
And again, you know, the weather was a lot colder today. The room's cold.
Okay, this is thickening up.
We don't want to see oatmeal. We want it nice and creamy. So you got to really go in there and just squash those chunks in there. Just mush them down. Awesome, that's good. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and just pick up any one of those molds. You're going to always put it on the vibrator again, and you're going to start in the posterior end and let it run down. You don't want to and start on this end right here and let it run down. You don't want to just clump it all in there because it will not work.
Okay, started.
In the posterior, there you go. You see how it's running through, and you have to guide the mold to let it run through the teeth. And you guide it and you keep turning it till you get all the way to the very end. You can see it traveling down there. Okay, and then you go back again and you start adding in increments. Okay, once you get the teeth out of the way, then you can continue to load. Keeping pressure on there. Notice Ms. Gonzalez is always going through the posterior.
Okay, at this point all the teeth are covered.
Notice that Ms. Gonzalez also has her plaster right next to her. It's not far away. Everything she needs is there. Once she gets to that point, you want to make sure to load it up all the way. You're going to vibrate the bubbles down, smooth it out. This is where you would have some water, and you could smooth the top down. Okay, you can then lay it flat on the table, trying to reduce any extra movement that you don't need. Okay. So Ms. Gonzalez will put it down right in front of you. It's fine. And then so you can see how it needs to level off. And then at this point we would get some water and we could smooth out the top. And let me see if I can get some water for you. And you can use your finger, spatula, whatever you need to then smooth it out. If you have your spatula, you can use your spatula as well to make it even. And then once that's smooth, then you just leave it and you don't touch it anymore. You clean up and you get ready to start the next one. Okay?